Hello everybody and welcome back to another wonderful episode of Guapish Rule 34. As always, I'm your host Tanner, and today I'm joined by my very special co-host Nico.
Howdy there everybody, I'm here, I'm queer, and I'm not getting used to it yet.
Don't worry Nico, the way out of the closet is one step at a time. Also joining us today is my super special co-host Jackson.
I did unfortunately just recently realize that I am in fact gay and autistic, and it's really taking a toll on me, but I'll try my best this episode.
Are those related or unrelated to each other?
What?
You can be the judge.
Only God can do this.
And finally joining us is our super special co-host Dylan.
I am only special in the regards of my presence here, not the other form of special that people often refer to as a mental handicap.
That's definitely something a non-autistic person would say. Anyways, what have we got going on today, boys? We are here, another episode of Guapish Rule 34. Another beautiful day.
Surely
I actually know what I'm going to talk about now that I think about it.
Oh my god.
You're gonna talk about some bullshit that's to do with politics, Tanner?
I am. I'm going to do my bullshit politics
Ladies and gentlemen, this is where I zone out and have no clue about anything.
Can we start with a fun topic, not some boring politics thing?
Damn.
A really quick one.
Yeah, just like, something to like actually keep the people here, before they have to get lured in by your swan song. There.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Jesus.
Fine.
Right. So I remember being ridiculed in high school, specifically because I had the gall to say that people in video games, let's say like a Grand Theft Auto is a good example, that people value the lives of animals in games like that over the lives of people. And people were dumbfounded I had this opinion, that I think that people value the lives of these virtual dogs over virtual people. And I've been really annoyed by that since fucking high school. It's been very long. So I'm here to ask you guys, in like a game like that, do you guys value the lives of like an animal more? Like, do you feel bad shooting just some random dog walking around over to shooting some random person or running somebody over? Like, if you run over a dog in a game, you're like, oh shit, I just hit a fucking dog. But if you hit a person, you're like, haha, that was funny. Because I'm definitely of the opinion, like, I feel a lot worse killing some random virtual animal than I do killing some random virtual person. That's just me, though.
It is just you. I think they're both funny.
Well, I feel like there's more to it. I mean, it kind of depends for me. Most of the time when I play games, they don't usually have animals to kill, unless said animals are some kind of evil enemy that's trying to attack you. In which case, if it's some evil dog, I still hesitate and I feel bad. However, the people in the video games just make funnier noises. Sometimes they'll just scream really stupid, or they'll say something really stupid. I'm mostly referring to GTA in this case, because that's the only game that...
Yeah, GTA is the example, because there's just, like, non-hostile people and dogs. Like, they're both totally innocent.
I mean, there's no dogs in the online version. I guess if you play the story version, there's animals.
Yeah, whatever.
You know what was fun dogs to kill? In Call of Duty Black Ops, they had that kill streak where you would release a bunch of like German shepherds and then people had to fucking gun them down.
I hated that
was funny.
I
was thinking the exact same thing, Tanner.
That was hilarious.
Well, that's so depressing though, because then you're running around the map and all you just hear is like a dog like wail of death in the distance, and you're like, oh god. So you're trying to kill the people. They should make a game mode. They should make a game mode where it's a horde mode, but it's only fucking German shepherds. That's called Call of Duty Hellhounds Zombies.
Yeah, you're just mowing them down left and right.
That would be terrible. That's horrifying. Why would you say that?
We should make a game that's just about you shooting different breeds of dogs.
No, that's terrible. Why would you do
That'd be cool.
that?
Yeah, it's like a zombies mode or something like that, where it's just like hordes of dogs coming at you, and like the different breeds can have like different abilities,
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Maybe instead of guns, you maybe make it a dog treat shooter, and it has an antidote in it that reverts it back to a normal. It reverts it back to a normal dog, makes it lovable, and then you collect them, you take them back to your base. You could pet them. You got all these dog breeds. That'd be kind of cool,
No, this game is about shooting dogs. You have like old school hunting rifles. It's no futuristic bullshit. It's very realistic. We have ragdoll physics out the wazoo. There's boss fights. It's like Cujo and Old Yeller, It's the fucking the hounds from where the red fern grows. You put those ones down. It'll be really funny.
I like this idea, honestly. We can put that one right next to our Chris Chan dating sim.
Oh my god.
We'll have those like dachshunds that were trained in World War I to like crawl under tanks with mines on their backs. And
I don't want to think about this. I own dachshunds. Please don't. I love my dogs.
I'm just saying,
They're adorable.
they were bred for a specific reason, and that reason is to kill themselves.
No, they were to hunt rabbits.
No.
It's just like the Velociraptors in Jurassic World.
It was so you could strap bombs to them, and they'd run
Tanner,
underneath tanks.
Not everything's about war and politics.
Dylan, have you never thought about how, like, a dachshund's mouth is, like, perfectly shaped to, like, fit a grenade inside of it?
Have you ever thought that maybe their snout is perfect for fitting into a rabbit burrow and, getting in there and killing them and stuff?
Listen, I'm just gonna ask you this. Have you ever seen a rabbit in Germany?
Yes.
You've been to Germany?
No.
Dylan, do you know anyone from Germany?
I don't think so.
Have you ever talked to someone who's been to Germany?
Yeah.
Interesting. Did you ask him about rabbits, though?
Why would I ask him about rabbits? That's kind of a random subject to bring up.
Listen, that's double checkmate. I'm just saying, there's no rabbits in Germany. Dachshunds were bred to blow up tanks and, by extension,
on
themselves.
Another note, off of Jackson's little thing here.
Yeah, France, on the other hand, has rabbits out the wazoo. Napoleon himself actually lost a battle against rabbits.
Ooh.
I posted in the tops as well. Is it like justifiable to kill zombie death mutant babies and toddlers in video games, especially if they make the same sound a child would if you killed them?
The answer is yes.
Yeah, video games have... Yeah, there's no moral qualms around doing things in a video game.
You're still shooting babies and toddlers.
No, you're
man.
not. They're fucking binary code.
Well, then why wouldn't we apply that same argument to the pets humans debate that we had with Jackson?
I did apply that same logic.
I mean, not exactly.
I said it's funny both ways.
Okay.
I don't think there's any moral weight to digital creatures.
That's also fair. You're still killing.
By the way, do you guys usually say wiener dogs or dachshunds?
I say wiener dogs.
I alternate.
Okay.
Yeah, my sister got a wiener dog back when I was growing up. It was half black and half brown. Because we had brown and black dogs.
Like down the middle?
Yeah, exactly. Because we had brown and black dogs, I thought it was their puppy that they just had overnight.
What?
Because I was a very small child at the time.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
You thought it was just a really long baby dog?
Yeah, exactly. It was a puppy, so
Yeah.
Who knows what happened with it? Maybe it got stretched out during birth.
Yeah. The mom dog, she's just got a really tight cooter, and it's stretched the baby out.
Yeah, exactly. It was like pushing out some Play-Doh.
The hell out of a puppy.
All right, so Tanner, now that we got the good shit out of the way, let's go on to your boring topic here.
Hello, everyone. Welcome once again.
I'm certainly going to understand everything that's said here in the next 10 to 15 minutes.
Yes, hello, everyone. Welcome back once again to Tanner's Politics Talk, where Tanner talks politics. How many of you guys are aware of the political thing that happened about a week ago?
You need to be like 10 times more specific than that, Tanner.
Well, so it sounds like you have not heard about the political thing that happened about a week ago.
Is it Trump being arrested?
No. That was like 2 days ago.
I don't know, man. I don't know. There's a lot of politics things that flash by that I don't pay attention to.
It was the Republican National Committee debates, the primary debates. Okay. Anyways.
It was crazy!
It was great. They killed each other. They were up there. They were ripping each other's arms off. Anyways. Just for the users interested, I figured I'd just give my opinion on how the debates went. For those of you who don't know, which is all three of you, we had 8 people at the debates. Donald Trump decided not to show up, and instead he put out an interview with Tucker Carlson. That interview is boring and just didn't do anything for me, and I think it was probably a waste of his time. But, alas. Here's my breakdown of the debates. I don't think anyone's performance was particularly bad, and so really the only way you can judge who won or lost is based on, like, if they accomplished the thing they, like, really wanted to do at the debates. So, for example, we have Vivek Ramaswamy, who's people are pretty hyped up about. His whole goal with the debates was just to get attention, get some more eyes and ears on him, get more people to notice him. I think he did that very well. He had, I'd say, 2 or 3 standout moments where he is definitely getting some of those Twitter clips, you know? And so I think he probably walked away winning the debate in terms of just getting attention and doing what he needed to do there. We also had some guy, I forget his first name, I think it's like Doug Burgum or something. This man is, he came out of nowhere. He is a tech billionaire who was the governor of North Dakota, and he did this funny thing where, in order to get into the debates, you need to have 10,000 unique donors. And so what he did is he offered people $20 gift cards to donate $1 to his campaign, and then they let him in the debate because he did this.
That's pretty sweet.
It's very funny. His whole thing was also just to get attention. I thought he did a fine job. He has crazy eyebrows, which I'm sure will help him quite a bit. I don't know much about him though. Let's see, we had Asa Hutchinson, Tim Scott, and Nikki Haley. They needed to give people any reason to pay attention to them, and I don't think they particularly did a good job at that. Asa Hutchinson needs to drop out now. No one gives a fuck about him. He's like the governor of Arkansas or some bullshit. Tim Scott I thought did fine, but he's just nothing. And Nikki Haley is cringy as fuck. She literally seems like a Republican Hillary Clinton. I fucking despise this woman. She needs to drop. And she's doing all this cringy like, oh, it's a woman's turn now?
So Tanner, what you're saying is that she is a perfect being, and we need to get her in office now.
Exactly. She is the ideal candidate to win with idiots, I guess. We got Chris Christie. His whole thing was, I guess, testing the waters for how a very explicitly anti-Trump Republican would do. It did not go well. He got very, very loud boos from the audience. The audience was weirdly by the way, this is like a political debate. The audience was treating it like a fucking sports match. They were like, yeah, woo, or they were like, boo, you suck, you know, stuff like that. I feel like they should have told the audience, hey, this is kind of a professional thing, but whatever. We had Mike Pence down there. Shockingly, Mike Pence did a very good job. His whole goal was to kind of remind people of the good old days of like 2017 through 2019. And he did a great job at that. And I'm sure my grandmother is very excited to vote for him. And then we had Ron DeSantis, governor of Florida, number 2 in the polls, maybe number 3 now, to be honest.
And he's your favorite, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, I love that guy. His whole goal was to try and set it, like, really go, hey, I am the contender against Trump, and I don't think he really did that. I don't think he got much attention for him. I'm sure some people, people like him and whatever, but I don't think he really stood out the way he needs to. 2 big moments that really stood out for this. They asked a question about climate change, and everyone kind of sat there twiddling their thumbs, and then Ramaswamy just came out and said climate change is a hoax. I love that. That's my favorite, and I think we need more of that. They also asked just this really softball question that I legitimately could not believe, like, most of them failed on. They asked, would you not support giving more money to Ukraine? And, like, raise your hand. Ramaswamy was the only one to raise his hand, and I sat there in fucking shock, because that is an easy yes. Not only should we not be giving more money, we should pull out entirely. This is fucking stupid, and frankly, with that single answer, I'm probably gonna vote for Vivek Ramaswamy now, just based on that alone. But yeah.
Now, Tanner.
Yes.
I think these debates are really fucking stupid, personally. What are your thoughts? Just in general, the entire idea behind these debates, I just do not like.
What's stupid about it?
Because these people are not given very much time to talk really whatsoever.
True.
So the most you really get are just like little sound bites for like, hey guys, this is why I'm important. This is why, you should be paying attention to me for a little bit. You really aren't able to like delve into their real thoughts on really anything much whatsoever, which it feels very pointless to me at the end of the day. I know that ultimately it's just like so that people get more exposed to these candidates, but at the same time, like, I just don't care. They're not getting any sort of nitty-gritty whatsoever, and so it's just I don't really know what any of these people really think that much.
Yeah, I agree that the debate format is antiquated, let's say, but I think they're still useful and don't need to be, like, done away with. Obviously, you know, go out and watch, you know, one-on-one interviews with these people where they're talking at length, if you can, but...
I think they need to end now! I hate them, Tanner! Get rid of it!
Okay.
Tanner,
Anyway.
I need you to, like, organize something to, like, you know, do a little something at the next one of these debates to make sure that they never happen
That's
again.
What if I put on my own debates where I lock them all in a room together for 12 hours and then we see what happens?
There we go. Maybe, hang on a second here.
What if I invite them to a church lock-in, like in high school?
Yeah. So that they can all have a little powwow and get to know each other a bit more.
Yeah,
And they can just
exactly.
decide on their own who they believe should run the country.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's
That's
a perfect
true.
system. Dylan, do you feel a bit more informed now?
Tanner, if I didn't care about it before, you talking about it now for like 5-ish minutes did not change my opinion on it whatsoever.
Dylan, do you remember any of the names you said?
All I heard was some people good, some people bad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't...
You're not gonna vote, right? I just want to make sure you're not voting.
Probably not.
Probably.
I
don't
get
like that.
I get the ballots in the mail. I'm like, I should probably vote and like do some research, and then I set it
I'm
down on the counter, and I forget about it for 2 weeks, and I'm like, it's probably too late to vote, and I throw it away.
Listen, I'm gonna put this reverse that, please. You should not say I should probably vote and do some research. You should say I should probably do some research first. That's the more important part.
Well,
Like, I know you'd probably vote the same way I would in most instances. I still don't want you voting if you're uninformed.
I mean, the reality would be is that I would do the research first. I'm not going to vote then do the research. I was just, you know, that wasn't the exact
I'm just saying
order
that's
of operations.
that's the way you phrase it, you know.
I
I'm
know,
going
but that's
for
not how
Sleepy
I
Joe.
meant it. It's like saying you're going to take a test and then study for it. It's just stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan's gonna hear some Destiny YouTuber he watches tell him, hey, by the way, guys, if you don't know who you're voting for yet or just don't plan to vote, go ahead and vote for Joe Biden anyway. I feel like that guy's gonna do a really good job of running the country over this other schmuck.
Yeah, that's how he's gonna win.
I think you overestimate the amount of Destiny YouTubers I watch.
You watch
I
all
like
the
a
big
lot.
ones, man. You watch all
You
the big
watch
ones.
the
There-
Destiny.
There aren't
YouTuber.
really anybody who posts Destiny YouTube videos anymore unless it's lore videos, and that's kind of all I watch.
anymore. It doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, it's not
Destiny
really.
content has ceased to exist on YouTube.
It's an untapped market guide to know what our next venture should be.
The only Destiny
Pretty
content
much,
that
yeah.
exists on YouTube now is like, check out this sick new gun, or like, check out this sick broken whatever. So, you know, and I don't care much
I
for
can
that stuff
guarantee you
anyway.
that's not true, Dylan, but whatever.
Idea for you, Tanner. How about
Yes.
this? We lock up all the Republican candidates, okay, and we have them fight an elephant, and whoever comes out on top gets to
Okay.
be the new president.
Yeah, I kind of like that idea.
That's something
Yeah.
I can get behind.
The
Sounds good
problem
to me.
is then if we're doing the same thing with the Democrats, they only have to fight a donkey.
Yeah, that's true. However, they each have to fight a donkey one-on-one.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay,
That makes sense.
that maybe evens it. I hear donkeys are mean, so maybe yeah.
They're mean if you're mean to them.
And the Libertarian Party has to fight a porcupine, and who knows how that's gonna go.
Just punt it, man. It's fine.
Maybe. I don't know.
I came to the conclusion that if an animal is going to attempt to attack me and it's smaller than me, I will just kick it because I have size advantage. That is
That's
how it
true.
works.
Including
Kids
an
are-
animal that is, like, covered in quills.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, man, it's only gonna hurt for a little bit. You just gotta pull the quills out.
There you go.
Or seek
Okay.
medical attention.
You just gotta muscle through it, dude.
You're more likely to get hurt by the quills if it's shooting it at you than you kicking it.
They don't shoot quills, Dylan.
Yes, they do.
They don't
No,
do
they
that.
don't.
Yes, they do.
How would they
don't
do
shoot
that?
quills.
They
That's
shoot
something
quills at, like,
cartoons
a-
made up.
No,
they don't shoot
it's-
quills.
I remember hearing.
No, you don't. You
You
saw
heard
it in a
wrong.
cartoon. It's something cartoons made
it's
up.
not a cartoon thing. Let you
Dylan,
guys
how would they even
continue.
do that?
I don't know. I just remember hearing a stat that porcupines could shoot their quills at 100 miles an hour.
You
What?
heard
Bro, what
wrong.
the fuck are you
Just
talking
keep
about?
talking. I'm gonna look this up.
Porcupines cannot shoot their quills, so they don't have gas
All right,
in their
I'm
bodies.
looking it up. I'm not.
What kind of a propellant system would a porcupine
I
have?
don't know. I don't care enough to know these. I'm just regurgitating things I've heard before.
Regurgitating.
And you should use this as regurgitating what we're telling you now. This is 3v1.
It's okay, Dylan. We all believe they could shoot quills too, and then we turn 12.
Porcupines cannot shoot them at predators, as once thought. There it is.
As once thought.
I was basing my information on information that was false before, or whatever.
It's been outdated since then.
I don't know.
It's not. That's a wildly inaccurate way of phrasing that.
Based on new evidence, we learned they can no longer do it.
They only realized in 2018 that they couldn't shoot quills. Okay, Dylan hasn't been paying too much attention to the news.
Also, just in addition to your comment, Nico, if you punt a porcupine in the face, it can't get you with the quills. So just be smart about it, man.
They're gonna let you do that?
Not in their face and their butt.
They have face quills.
No, they don't.
Porcupines
I just saw a
have face
picture of
quills.
them. They do, but if you kick them in their face or like in the
This man is just adapting to information on the fly like a true champion, you know?
No, like you look at a porcupine, you kick it in the spot that's not covered in quills.
Why do you think it lets you even get near its face? Their whole tactic is to turn their back to you, so you can't do that.
I just use my shoes, man. Can't get through
How many other silly animal facts like that do you think Dylan has wrong?
I guess we'll find out when the animal comes up.
Dylan, describe platypuses to us.
Platypuses are venomous. That's true.
Yeah, they got little quills in there.
That one.
They lay eggs. It's very cool.
Anyway, Jackson.
Like my platypus fact.
What's up, baby?
Do you have any questions or comments before we leave Tanner's politics talk?
Dude, I had an old coworker and their name was Vivek. So I'm voting for Vivek.
That makes sense to me.
He reminds me of my past love.
Oh, man.
Was your coworker also Indian?
Yeah, of course.
That's crazy.
They took like a month off of work so they could go to India for some wedding or something too. The whole like regular.
Why was the wedding? Was the wedding a month long?
I don't fucking know.
I mean, you know, like I'm sure they don't go to India very often, so they probably just wanted to be there for a while to like spend time with family.
Yeah, like a family excuse. I'm assuming, but I know they got a different culture than us. There's a lot of
Would you guys want to go to India?
No.
I think it'd be pretty cool.
I think it'd be interesting to go for a little bit. I'd like to
drink out of that dirty river and see if I survive.
I don't think that's a good idea.
It's like raw sewage.
Yeah, no, I feel like the only reason I'd ever want to go to India is if a woman drags me there, and I would not want to, you know, have to play fucking bodyguard with a woman while I'm in India the whole time.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, like just circle her 24/7 so she's not just constantly getting groped.
Yeah.
Nico, do you think you'd be able to fight off a gang rape group of Indian men?
No. That's why I won't want to have to bear with it in India.
Yeah,
just have her wear a burqa.
That's tragic.
There we go. That could work.
It might work.
It might.
But then the mind can play tricks on you, you know? It's often what you imagine is greater than what you have.
Just make her look really fucking fat in the burqa. She's like wearing a fat suit.
There we go.
How come we never see really overweight women in burqas? Think about it. Have you ever seen someone in a burqa who seems like obese?
I can't say so.
I don't pay much attention to people in burqas, to be honest.
Interesting. What does that mean?
It means that they aren't overweight.
Are the Middle Easterners killing all their fat people?
I kind of doubt it.
I mean, like,
somehow.
One of the Middle Eastern countries has, like, a higher rate of obesity than we do. I think it's Saudi Arabia. So
probably.
That might just be all the men, though. They might just keep the men fat.
That makes sense, yeah. That's what we should be doing. Only the men are allowed to be fat.
There we go.
I'll pass. I like being not
Is
fat.
obesity higher amongst men or women in America?
Men, I'm assuming.
I believe it would be.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm really just jumping to some assumptions here, though. Like,
this is why we Google things.
Women do have, like, a much, like, you know, a fucking oppressing idea in their minds. Like, I can't be fat, otherwise I'll never be desirable and I won't find a man. So, like,
I think those standards have changed a little bit, Nico.
I mean, they're trying to make it change, Dylan, but how much is it actually changing outside of Twitter?
I don't know. I'm not on Twitter.
Exactly.
Society.
He doesn't know what he's talking about. I mean, I searched fat woman in a burqa. I'm not seeing any fatties on here, so...
They hide them well.
Interesting. What if burqas make you not fat?
No, they're just like really slimming outfits.
Maybe they make you sweat so much that you don't get fat. Like it's really hot in a burqa, you know?
I don't know. I thought that like their clothing that they wear there's like entirely because like it's supposed to keep you not hot, you know?
I don't know. I feel like it has to be. It's like they're usually black and they're like full body.
Yeah, I was gonna say black is an insulating color, so I don't know how that
unless they're like the most breathable fabric the world's ever known.
It could be. Have you ever worn one?
I have. Maybe I should. What would happen if I wore a burqa and then just went around like downtown LA or something?
I don't think people would really bat an eye, to be completely honest.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that we fucking looked up on the podcast, like, are men allowed to wear hijabs? That's something we looked up.
If we did look that up, I don't remember.
Yeah, it's something we looked up at some point, and pretty much all the results were like, there's no reason for you to wear a hijab. You're a man. What the fuck are you talking about? And that's just the only conclusion we got.
But it's like funny, okay?
I don't think you're supposed to be doing it to be funny.
I would like to know if it's like a social faux pas in those countries for a man to wear a hijab or a burqa.
I don't know if it would be necessarily. I think they just might think that you're a weirdo for doing that. Because like you have no reason. What are you up to?
Yeah, they'd be so confused that they wouldn't do anything to you.
They throw small stones and not big ones at you.
Yeah, you'd think the homosexuals over there, they'd be wearing burqas or something like how they wear women's clothing over here.
I don't think homosexuals are allowed over there though. Tanner.
I was about to say I think they have different. They have different. Yeah.
What? How are you gonna phrase this, Dylan?
I had a word.
Curious.
I had a word, and it immediately left my mind. If it comes back, I'll let you know.
Okay.
I think I was just gonna say they had different standards over there. I think is what I was gonna say.
Sure, that's yeah.
Why not say that?
Well, it's because I literally forgot the word until just now.
He forgot the word standards.
I feel like I was going to use a different word.
In Dylan's defense, I do that kind of shit constantly where I forget like a completely normal word for absolutely no reason.
Yes, sir. That's just like me.
I definitely felt like I was going to use a more, I forgot the word again. Never mind.
Standard?
Fair.
Not standard. It's definitely not that. Sophisticated. I felt like I was going to use a more sophisticated word.
Yeah, speaking of sophistication, now, I'm sure that you guys noticed here very recently that, unfortunately, Charles Martinet... Dylan, do you know who Charles Martinet is, real quick?
No.
Charles Martinet, the voice of Mario himself, is now retiring from being the voice of Mario. It's finally happening, guys. After voicing him for who knows how many years, ever since Mario 64, Charles Martinet, he's throwing in the towel. He can't do it anymore. Supposedly, from what we're hearing, Mr. Chris Pratt is going to be reprising the role of Mario for the foreseeable future. But
no, that can't be. That can't be true. You're making that part up.
Potentially. However, right now we don't know who the voice of Mario is, Tanner, so it could be anybody. After all, Miyamoto himself did say that he's so cool, so like...
He did say that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Tanner, this is your moment. You can be Mario. You can be the change you want to be.
Tanner, give us your best Mario.
It's a Mia, Mario! Wahoo! Yee! Hoo! Ah!
Can you give us your best, like, Mario oof?
Oof!
That's so much more subdued than I expected. Yeah, there we go. That's a bit better. Like, that's not at all how he sounds in 64 or Tanner. He's more like, oof!
Oof!
Do that one, like, falling off the edge. Do the Mario wow when he's falling.
I think Discord didn't pick that one up for you guys.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
He didn't say it. He's gaslighting us.
Now, real quick here, boys. What would you say is, like, one of the most cringe things you can think of? Like a pretty, let's say, like a pretty normal thing that you find to be really cringe when people do it.
Rolling their eyes.
That is pretty cringe.
Okay.
I think for me, the one that immediately jumps out is when people do that, like, quiet yell. Like, they're doing an inflection in their voice where they're, like, trying to imitate a yell, but they're trying to, like, stay quiet. So, like, they're not, like, actually being loud at all.
Bro, I got a coworker that does that.
That shit's really fucking cringe. I hate it. Just commit to it.
I don't usually find things, like, too many things to be cringe. I'm sure, like, I'm trying to, like, really, like, reach the recesses of my mind, but nothing's jumping forward.
What came to my mind is weed. Weed is cringe.
Yeah. Weed is pretty cringe.
Potheads in general are just really cringe. I don't think the idea of weed necessarily is cringe, but, like, everybody that does weed is very cringe.
Hey, what about Tanichi?
Yeah.
Tanichi is the definition of cringe.
He is blatantly like the most pothead I know.
Homosexuality, cringe.
Phew.
I don't know about that one.
Controversial opinion, homo.
You're only allowed to say that because you suck so much dick, Tanner.
Tell you what, being a woman, cringe.
There we go. My first answer was going to be women to be.
I think it was a very sexist answer.
So?
What's sexist about it, Dylan?
Saying that women are cringe just because they're women?
So?
Am I wrong?
What's sexist about it?
You know what? You're right. I'm sorry.
He just rolled his eyes. That's cringe.
I didn't roll my eyes. I looked up.
If men were women, then they'd be cringe too. So, you know, there's no double standard. I'm treating them both equally.
He's got you there, Dylan.
I read this thing on Reddit where apparently autistic people complain about the phrase rolling their eyes because most normal people just look up and then down, whereas autistic people, they literally roll their eyes.
And
I thought that was funny.
Even more evidence.
You know what, Tanner? Reddit cringe.
Reddit, very... Oh, yes.
Very
I'm sure
cringe.
if you guys keep mentioning things, I'll find something that's cringe, but nothing's sounding familiar yet.
Dylan, do you feel like that might be because you've fallen too far down the cringe rabbit hole?
Probably, but I also don't care enough, so...
After all, Dylan, look to your right there.
I don't care. I like collectibles. We've already come to this conclusion. I can show you what the rest of my room looks like if that's what you want.
Nico, could you please
everywhere.
look in front of you and slightly to the right on your desk for me?
What are you talking about, dude?
Just talk about that perfect cell sitting right next to your laptop.
I wonder.
We're talking about Funko Pops, by the way. No one can see any of this, what we're talking about right now, because it's entirely visual. We're talking about Funko Pops. Funko Pops are fucking cringe.
No, they're not.
Funko Pops are cringe.
Why? They're just bobbleheads that
Because
don't
millennials like them.
I don't...
Am I wrong?
I don't know. I like them, and I'm not a millennial, so...
So that makes you double cringe.
How does that make
You're not
you double
even the
cringe?
target audience.
Oh my god. I mean, one of these Funkos isn't even from, like, their time period.
Dogs that bark too much, cringe.
Cats that don't meow enough, cringe.
I'll actually one-up you on that one, Tanner. Chihuahuas are cringe.
Chihuahuas are cringe.
Yeah.
Most small breeds, cringe.
Yeah. Speaking of cringe, though, guys, you know what else is cringe?
What?
Us not getting on to Guapish at the movies yet.
Da, 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 da.
It's the only time it's acceptable. God.
Guapish at the movies? Nico, what did we watch this week?
What the fuck did we watch this week? Well, first of all,
Oh man,
we're going to be
it's
talking
my
about
cue.
our Patreon movie that we watched this week,
Wait,
which was
wait.
Pandorum, recommended by Lucas Ledet.
I have my catch-up movies. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Oh, yeah.
God damn it, Dylan. Did you actually watch the
It was-
entirety of Cleopatra this time?
What?
Did you actually watch all of Cleopatra?
What are you talking about?
Do you
It
not
doesn't
remember?
matter. Let's skip this and go on to your
what
rant thing.
catch-up ones do you have, buddy?
I have RRR and the Pirates Who Don't Do Anything.
Nice.
Oh, you found them.
I found what?
You were talking last week about how you couldn't find where to watch the movies.
Oh, yeah, Pirates Who Don't Do Anything. There was, for some reason, just the full movie posted in segments on YouTube, so I just watched it that way.
Well, there you
go.
The
And
best way to watch a movie.
It was kind of scuffed, but it was fine. It was still the whole movie. And then RRR, I managed to borrow somebody's Netflix account here.
Nice.
I totally spaced the fact that was one of the 3-hour movies, so I was not prepared for the length of that movie. Anyway, The Pirates Who Don't Do Anything, I gave a B.
That is a very high ranking. Why did you give it that?
I don't know, it reached back to my childhood nostalgia, and I didn't think it was a bad movie.
Okay.
What did you like about it, outside of nostalgia?
I don't know, I think the voice acting was good, because, you know, it's not very difficult.
Yeah?
Dude, there's some raving reviews for
I'm
this movie.
being very harshly judged, I can see it in your eyes.
Well,
Now,
you
Dylan.
can't come up with anything.
Dylan, keep in mind real quick here, you're giving
like
this
the
exact
story.
same ranking as you gave the most recent One Piece movie we watched.
Yeah,
Does that seem right to you in your mind?
it
Are
doesn't
those on the
bother
same
me.
tier?
It doesn't bother me either way.
Doesn't bother him, okay. Fair enough.
Anyway. Do I have
For
to continue?
RR.
Do I have... okay, I was about to say, do I have to continue my standing? God, you guys are gonna hate me for this. RR, I gave a B-.
So Dylan, do you think it's a worse movie on the Pirates Who Don't Do Anything?
There was just... Here's my defense for RRR. It was a very
It has
entertaining...
Indian people! Gross!
It was a very entertaining movie. It's what I would call eye candy, which basically is like... There was a lot of cool things to watch in the movie. Like, the concepts and the things they were doing were obviously very cool. I was having a really hard time trying to figure out whether they were trying to base this movie in reality or just make it impossible feats, because there were a lot of situations and moments in this movie where they were definitely doing things that were not humanly possible. Also,
that should have been your first, only, and last tip-off.
Also, how much of a movie does it need to be singing and stuff for it to be considered a musical?
All of it.
Okay.
A pretty decent portion. I definitely wouldn't consider RRR
I would not
musical.
say this is a musical.
Okay. I don't know. I also just felt like the movie was really long stretched, but I feel like it did it in a good enough way where it explored different backgrounds and different, like, portions, and I think they, with the whole splitting into, like, fire, water, and then whatever the last section was, just exploring different perspectives and all that stuff. But yeah, I thought it was very fun to watch. It was not very realistic. The voice act, I said voice act. The acting was, yeah.
Dylan, for 10 points, what do the 3 R's stand for?
I think it was Fire, Earth, or no, Rise, Revolt. Rise, Revolt. I don't remember what the last R stands for.
The last R is Revolt, the second R is Rebel.
Ah, there we go. Yeah, I remember seeing that on, like, a flag or something in some portion of the movie. But
Now, Dylan, you mostly gave, like, positives for that film.
no,
And yet
like,
you're still giving a B-.
well, no, like, I was trying to, like, this movie either needs to be a realistic or it doesn't. Like, you can't just have these people do, like, they're just like, oh man, these guys are incredible. Like, of course they're extremely strong. But, like, this dude stomps a motorcycle, flips it midair, and then, like, grabs it midair and swings it around to hit people, and then grabs it to throw it at another guy. Like, come on. This movie
that was basically my criticism.
I was going to say, I like how this is basically the same criticism you two had.
I didn't have that criticism of it.
It just didn't pick a tone. Like, half of it was really serious, and half of it was, like, just goofy shit like that.
Yeah, because, like, a lot of it was, like, going through struggle and, like, persevering through the pain and being strong for what you believe in and, like, just being that symbolism that people need to see. And then other times it was like, oh, this dude shot an arrow through a tree, which also is not possible, and then proceeds to kick the arrow through the tree to kind of stab this guy through the ear and kill him. Like,
yeah, she was fucking sweet, Dylan. I feel like you're the exact kind of person who would love that kind of stuff.
Like I said, I kept it in the B. I was gonna say I kept it in the B rankings because I thought the movie was badass, but it got at the lower score. I was honestly considering putting it down to C+.
Jesus.
But just to be funny, I was gonna say B for badass, and that's where it's gonna stay.
Interesting.
Well, alrighty. Getting back to our movies for this week, though.
Well, Jackson, do you know the updated ranks on those then?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, RRR is at a B+, and Parts That Don't Do Anything is at C. I don't know what they were at previously.
Well.
Whoopsies.
Nico, you can figure that out for me. Actually, I can check really quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, just remove all the rankings.
I'm just going on to the old Guapish website.
Yeah, that's what I assumed you'd be doing.
The Parts That Don't Do Anything was previously a C-, but it went up 1 rank, and RRR has not changed. It's still the B+.
Holy shit. Speaking of things that haven't changed at all...
Whoa.
We're going back to Lucas Lidette's movie that he recommended this week, the Patreon movie, Pandorum, guys. Pandorum. Now, this movie, it follows 2 astronauts who wake up from a spaceship with no memory of who they are or why they're there. As they explore the ship, they discover that it's filled with mutant creatures, and mysterious events occur, like fucking mutanoids just like mauling people and devouring them. It's crazy, and there are people on the ship who are just like running away from them, speaking a weird new language. What's going on there, guys? And, you know, as they explore, they discover more fucking mutants, more creatures, more mysterious events. The film explores the themes of isolation, memory loss, as many other things as they travel throughout the ship. And eventually, guys, they realize that they're not actually in space. They're in the ocean all along.
Whoa.
That's fucking nuts, isn't it?
F-tier movie. The protagonist should have died like 10 minutes in when he snapped his neck falling down that bed. Bullshit movie. Dog shit.
I thought he did die. I thought it was just going to be a movie like where you could be reanimated in a pod because you had like biological copies or something.
I thought he was just going to fucking die and the other guy was going to have to figure it out himself and he was going to become the main character.
Yeah, I legit thought he broke his neck there.
Yeah, also, is it a new language? I just figured it was those characters' original language. Because obviously they have people from different ethnicities on that ship.
It's impossible to say.
I will say, I did have a favorite character, and he died in a very dumb and stupid way, and I hate it.
I know exactly who you're talking about, Dylan.
I hate it. That woman changed his mind, and because she changed his mind, he died. I hate it.
I don't even remember.
Now, Dylan, real quick, can you just say who the character was?
It was that Asian guy, the really cool Asian guy.
That would be your favorite character.
Listen, man, he survived not really knowing anything. He kind of just survived off of combat skills. He beat one of those things on his own at the very end, which is something not any of them were able to do. The thing even challenged him to an honorable fight, and he won. And then he sees the kid, and he's like, "Oh man!" You see the gears turn in his head. He's like, "Oh, the woman told me not to kill it. It's just a child." And in that scene, you're gonna really think it's just a child when you know they're gonna grow up to be these cannibalistic assholes that eat people, have super strength and super speed. You're not gonna kill them while they're young and like not give them the chance to grow up. Like, come on.
Dylan,
so several things there. Yeah, murder all the children. Several things there. So, like, first of all, with this character, the moment he showed up, I was just like, okay, yeah, this guy's going to die immediately, or just like in some really stupid way, because he gets zero development throughout the entire film. So obviously, he's just going to fucking die at some point. And yeah, sure enough, he ends up fighting some mutant, and for some reason, they have a concept of honor. God knows why. They kind of just seem like they trap people and immediately murder them.
I think it's because they're supposed to be pretty tribal with how they do stuff, like with the fucking head painting and all that shit. It's supposed to be like a tribal society.
Mm-hmm.
I still think it's really fucking dumb. They definitely don't strike me like that at all. They kind of just seem like, they kind of just keep to their own and murder anyone they come across, and that's about it, and just devour them.
And they clearly also devour their own people, because if you remember, they killed that one when they were in, like, the flight crew, like, family member place or whatever. They killed it, and they're like, oh, wait. I think what I ended up saying at that part of the movie was, like, waste not, want not, and they just started immediately eating that one. So I was like, alright, that they're shedding the tone very much here. One thing that I really enjoyed about this movie is they had their own form of, I guess, space paranoia onset by the fact that it comes from cryogenic sleep.
It's the Pandorum, Dylan.
Yeah, and I like how they explored that. Like, we had like a glimpse in the very beginning that made us think that our protagonist had it, and he had to finish the mission before it overcame him. And then it turns out, I mean, I think he still had it, but he like got over it immediately. What I think the greatest twist though at the end was that old guy who was like, "Oh, I'm this guy," and then like his like vision of, and I'm saying a vision because I'm forecasting here, was like him when he was younger, and then it was like that one black guy surviving on his own, like telling the story about how things came to be. So we had like this idea, like there was a younger kid, which technically wasn't wrong, but then it all starts being pieced together at the very end. I thought it was very, very nice way to kind of use the space sickness, on the audience kind of thing, and subvert expectations.
Yeah. That's something I think this movie actually did very well, was the twists were actually really interesting. Them being on the planet the whole time was a twist, but underwater, so that was a twist. And then the pilot, the guy he was seeing was actually his hallucination of his younger self, and he actually is this evil guy that kind of set everything into motion. I thought that was actually a pretty cool and unforeseen twist as well.
I thought he wasn't his younger self, though. I thought he fucking killed the flight crew because he went insane, and then he just went into that young guy's pod and, like, assumed he was him, but he wasn't.
No, yeah, it was him.
Yeah, no, I definitely think it was him.
Yeah, and I thought it was crazy, like, they're like, oh, were these aliens? And I thought it was, like, gonna be, like, some kind of alien, like, species they'd have to fight off, or, like, oh, they're gonna have the security system active at the end to fight them off. But there's, like, no, something went wrong in the cryopod, like, some kind of like chemical that we use to like sustain ourselves in the cryogenic sleep. They got like enhanced doses of it or something, or it leaked into their fluids or whatever, and it altered them. It's like, well, why didn't it change everyone? I guess that's good writing when it's just like, it affects some but not all kind of thing.
That's bad writing, but
I think it's good writing because it's
a specific. No, it's only good writing if the explanation makes fucking sense.
I guess they didn't delve into it. I see your point.
Yeah, what I was assuming happened there was, like, I immediately knew, like, okay, these are just, like, mutated people. What I'm assuming happened, though, was that, like, these people, like, fucking came out of sleep, like, early or whatever the fuck. And we've been on the ship for, like, significantly longer than we thought, and these people just, like, adapted to the darkness, and they've, like, changed their bodies over time because of all that shit. Kind of disappointed they didn't really go that route, but...
Yeah. They kind of just summed it up to some chemical in their cryopods that for whatever reason, affected them and not us, kind of thing.
I mean, it could have been a combination of the facts. Weren't they in there for like 900 fucking years or something?
Yeah.
No, I thought it was like 700 or something.
No, it was like 900 years or something like that.
I thought the counter said like 200 something.
Maybe it was. It wasn't a long time, but it was definitely. Their voyage was only supposed to be like 130 something years, and the counter said like 200 and something. So they overshot their arrival date by like a lot, which would make sense. Well, they didn't
overshoot it. They were on the planet the whole time. They've been sitting underwater for 100 years.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, it would make sense. Like, we were supposed to be here this long ago, but we're already here, which means this all could have been avoided. Yada yada yada. Bad stuff happened.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, does anyone else have any thoughts about Pandora?
I don't know.
I thought this was. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, how do you guys feel about suspenseful horror as compared to confronting? And I mean that in the sense of, you know something's there, but they don't reveal it to you, or like the suspense of knowing something is there is scaring you more than the actual thing itself.
Oh, you mean like how do we feel about like this sort of movie where the threat, like you see it all the time and you know it's around, versus like in like an Alien where you barely ever see the threat?
Yeah, basically, yeah. Because it's like, I play video games like this a lot too, where it's like, the threat isn't there, you're more so scared of the fact that the threat can happen at any time. Like, it's just hiding. Like, I played, like, Dead Space and, you know, obviously watched some Alien movies, played a little bit of Alien Resurgence or whatever it's called, and you could just be walking along doing absolutely nothing, and then all of a sudden, out of a vent pops the thing that's trying to kill you, you know, kind of stuff. So, just different perspectives on horror.
I don't think I have a strong preference.
I guess it's time related to that, but I thought the like starting ambiance of this movie, when he was kind of just like sneaking around, avoiding the monsters, not really knowing exactly what's going on, like in the darkness, I really liked that section, and I think it went very downhill very quickly.
Yeah, it turns into like a pretty generic like action movie very quickly.
Yeah, when they're like fighting the fucking things, running away. I wasn't a huge fan of that shift in tone.
Yeah.
I definitely thought it was a lot stronger when they're hiding, and you know, it was a lot more. It was more mysterious. You didn't know exactly what was going on. Much bigger fan of that part.
Speaking of not knowing what's going on real quick here, guys, the fucking action scenes in this movie are fucking ridiculous in their editing. You cannot tell what the fuck is happening at any point.
I feel like that just has to do with, like, the character's perspective, though, because in that situation, they don't know what's going on. It's all just a blur. They're running around trying not to die, kind of thing. That's just
I don't think it's an excuse for it whatsoever. I think it's just really shoddy editing.
I actually don't think that's a terrible argument.
Because it's supposed... If we've discussed that, this is, like, kind of off topic. We've discussed the fact that movies are a form of art. I think, like, witnessing or, like, experiencing the movie from the character's point of view, even if it's not, you know, directly put that way, or first person, third person, whatever you want to say, it makes it feel that way when it's, like, chaos. You got, like, and I was actually going to reference the scene anyway, where there's, like, 3 of them fighting that one thing. And they're, like, losing. Like, they're getting their ass kicked by this one guy.
That was the worst culprit of it.
Well, that's what I'm referring to, though. It was chaos. They don't know what's going on. They just know they're getting thrown around by this one dude. And it's just, like, aside from, you know, my prior argument, I'm going to move past that now. Like, I think it set another tone. It was like, these 3 people, 2 of which have been, like, fighting these things, and one of them seems pretty competent, at least, like, if not both of them are competent fighting these things. Even 3 of them could not take one of these down. And then all up on the ridge, you see, like, the chief guy with, like, hundreds or dozens or whatever, I don't care, like, dozens of those things pouring over, and, you know, you just know in those situations, it's like fight or flight, and, you know, you just gotta run or else you don't live, kind of thing.
The editing was shit, that's all I'm saying here. Jackson, go on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I definitely think they need to lean more into your point of view, where they're trying to be like, oh, you're kind of experiencing the camera work with, like, the way the characters are looking at it. I don't think they leaned into that nearly enough, because it kind of just looked like it was really poorly shot. At least from my perspective. I think if they were, you know, trying to make it appear that way, then it would have been better. Yeah, also, just, like, the characters were pretty fucking stupid throughout a lot of this, too. Like, Nico said, Asian guy had, like, no character development at all. He was just kind of there. Main character was really fucking weird with a lot of the characters. The fucking chick, we don't get any motivation really, or like any justification for why she was being like a total asshole at the start. Like, man, I kind of understand being like untrustworthy of people, but we don't get any idea why. And then she suddenly is just like chill with everybody in the very end and like totally up for what's happening. Fucking cook guy has no reason to believe this person at all. I mean, he's caught in a fucking trap.
True.
he has like no evidence to prevent whatsoever to sell his case. So I don't know why the fuck he'd believe him.
There is the ship shaking and the lights flashing.
I mean, that's just happening the whole fucking time we were watching this movie. So I can only imagine this is a relatively common event for this guy.
Yeah, also that reveal, the like, oh yeah, the engine's gonna just like die in like an hour, by the way, was fucking absurd.
Yeah,
like, I thought he was gonna say like, yeah, like a couple of weeks maybe, like, you know, but like, no, an hour. This is like immediate need, okay? We have to get out of here.
I can I was gonna say, I could kind of see that making sense because like maybe they're woken up from their sleep to stop this from happening. Like there was like a failsafe on their cryo sleep to, you know, address this issue potentially.
The time frame is going to be arbitrary no matter what because of the cryo sleep thing.
Yeah. Is it supposed to be like a manual switch? I figured it would have woken everybody up once they landed automatically. I guess it was like a manual switch. Because like, how do they?
Well, I think wasn't it like that the guy who had woken up and lost his fucking mind and turned himself into a god, like he kind of fucked everyth up.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
He killed the flight crew.
He did kill the flight there. You could have just, I guess made everybody just stay perfect stasis.
Yeah, based on what the cook was saying, he like released a bunch of people and he was basically like treating them as sex slaves and shit.
Yeah, he turned them into cannibals and stuff.
Was he the one that was like setting the timers for opening the fucking pods for the cannibals to eat?
No, I do believe that was just the reactor like having a power failure, and some pods were affected, some weren't. I do believe that's why most of the pods were opened in the movie, is because the reactor was failing.
In that way, I actually do think it's pretty sweet where they have like the massive storage chamber for all these people and then just popping open and like feeding the cannibals. I think that's a pretty cool set piece. I don't understand how the ship's laid out though. There's so much fucking empty space and it's like so poorly constructed. Like why this like massive container of like all these living biological things? Why is it just like 90% air? Where like there's some big crane that can go up. It's like so poorly designed. There's like these massive fucking rivets, I guess, for maybe access to like the mechanical systems. It's really stupid and poorly designed, but that's like a really minor issue.
Yeah, I'm sure with zero gravity it makes more sense. That's the only thing I can think of.
That might be fair, yeah.
I mean, maybe, but it seems like they have like artificial gravity on the ship, so like...
Yeah, you can also do that, I would imagine, at this point in time.
I thought it was, I kind of just found it funny how much the aliens liked tripwires. Like, they use tripwires a lot.
Yeah, they're setting up a lot of really basic traps.
Yeah. And also, you know, I just kind of enjoyed seeing a pre-Walking Dead Norman Reedus, who, you know, he's some unknown actor at this point, I guess, so they just put him in to get caught and killed immediately.
I prefer to think of it as pre-Death Stranding Norman Reedus, personally, but you go off, man.
I'm assuming that's, like, the first guy they found. He thought he was dead, but he wasn't. Is that guy?
It's the first guy he met who was like, he was strung up in a trap and he cut him loose and then they ran and then he got caught.
What was up with that guy though? Why was he such a fucking asshole? Like he just saved his life and he's like, fuck you, I'm dipping. And then also,
I'm gonna rub this grease on me and run away.
Yeah, what I don't like about that too is that it was a really bad callback for that because that guy died even though he greased himself up and was like being smarter about escaping, and then they go and use that motif of the guy hiding, like trying to conceal his scent later on in the movie, except it's successful that time. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought this was a neat little sci-fi film.
You would think that, Tanner, you piece of shit.
Just with my general experience of, like, environments like this, environment wasn't the word I was going to use, but just movies and games that involve this kind of stuff in general, I think this movie did a very good job at it. I was very uneasy the whole time I was watching the movie.
I was queasy, personally.
That's part of the issue.
And with that said, Dylan, what are you going to be ranking this movie?
S-. I thought the movie did a good job at what it did.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I think that's a bit excessive.
I'm not. Nico, you and I did think that Dylan was going to rate this movie very highly.
It did a good job at what it was trying to accomplish. I don't think this movie needs character development, especially given the fact that they were given less than an hour to try to fix the reactor. Character development doesn't happen in less than an hour.
Fuck character development. All my homies hate character development.
It's assumed that character development in movies happens over the course of in-movie weeks or days, whichever.
That's not true.
Not at all. People can change very quickly. Anyways, I'm going to go on the different end of the spectrum here. I don't think it was like a terrible movie in any way. I definitely think it had a lot of cool ideas. I think it was... I like the set pieces for everything pretty well. I think the twists were pretty well done. I'm giving it a C- myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely right there with you, Jackson. I'm thinking... I'm looking at C. I kind of want to put it there, but at the same time... yeah, I'll give it a C.
Tanner?
I will be giving it an A-.
Let's
Oh,
go.
boy. To be fair, from what I've heard, this film is kind of a cult classic among sci-fi fans.
I was talking to Nico about that. I was looking up stuff about this movie, and basically every video I watched, people were like, I love this movie. This movie is so underrated. It's such a hidden gem from this generation. One of my favorite sci-fi movies from this era. And I was just sitting there like, what? Was it that great? It was just like everything else in this era was dog shit? I'm like, anyways.
2009, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this movie fucking bombed, by the way. It was apparently supposed to be a trilogy, and just people didn't fucking care about it, so that didn't happen.
What would they have even done after that one?
I guess life on the planet?
Yeah, life on the planet, trying to rebuild society. But the mutants come back, Tanner. They come back.
How does that make sense? They drowned.
Impossible to say. I don't know what happens in the rest of them since they never happened.
They adapted very quickly to drowning.
Apparently, their hidden ability was adapt as quickly as possible.
Anyways, Dylan, you want to talk about our next movie, Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom?
Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. Oh boy. So yeah, basically what we come up with here is you've got Claire, and she's running like the Save the Dinosaurs kind of thing. She's got this organization. She's trying to make people feel bad, guilt tripping them and such. Basically, she meets up with this guy, and he's like, "Hey, I know you have access to the park and all of its tracking systems. I need you to do that because we can save all these dinos." She's like, "Sure." And he's like, "We need this one because this one's special and it's blue." And he's like, "Do you have a way to track her? Because it's really difficult." Or like, "You got a guy?" And she's like, "Yeah, I got a guy." Basically meet up with Owen, and then he's like, "This is a terrible idea. Just leave him be. It's better off this way." And she's like, "You're terrible. You raised her." Then they end up flying to the island. And then things start to get a little weird. They're capturing the dinos, and they're like, "Oh, you guys act quick." And then the military dudes start acting really weird. Basically, Claire and the kid get locked in the thing. They shoot Blue, and they shoot Owen with like a tranquilizer dart. And then they hold the one chick hostage, and they start carrying away all the dinos. Comes to find out that the guy that sent him to save the dinosaurs is like, "Yeah, we're gonna have these dinos for auction. Don't you worry." And we even have this bonus one that's genetically modified off of the original dinosaur we made in the first one. And then they start auctioning off. The heroes escape from their imprisonments and all that. And then, you know, through this one military guy being super stupid for some reason, because he has this like boner for collecting teeth. Opens the cage because he shoots this dinosaur with 2 tranquilizer darts. Attempts to pull a tooth out. The dinosaur is very clearly not knocked out. Eats him. Escapes. It just utterly wreaks havoc on the protagonists. Long story short, Blue ends up fighting this thing with the help of Owen and Claire, and it gets impaled on a Triceratops skeleton. And then all the dinosaurs escape because they're like, "Do we let them live or we let them die?" And the kid's like, "They're just like me," and lets them escape. The end.
Alright, so guys, contrary to what you might think, I actually really liked this film. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. You know, I like the dinosaurs. I'm a big fan of dinosaurs. The CG for the dinosaurs is really good. It had great graphics.
I hate this.
I really like Chris Pratt. He's a funny guy. I like that he's in the movie. I enjoyed him a lot. And at the end of the day, I like it when the dinosaurs like eat people. I thought the dinosaurs did a good job of eating all the people.
Can we get your actual opinion on this movie?
This movie sucks ass. Fuck this movie.
The writing is so fucking bad. It's actually insane. Like every tiny little piece of this movie, the writing just makes no fucking sense. This is the movie I've thought about the most, and I don't know why. I just couldn't get it out of my brain. Every time I thought about anything about this movie, I'm like just baffled at the decisions they made. I've never taken notes on a movie before. I have such a big list of notes for this fucking movie. I'm not going to go through all of them because that'd be ridiculous. I don't think I'm really even going to go through many of them unless like they come up with what we're talking about at the time. But yeah, this movie's writing is fucking horrible.
I thought the opening scene was good, and that felt very Jurassic Park.
The opening scene felt fucking pointless. Why did that scene happen?
So they could get the Indominus Rex DNA.
Fair, I guess. That's fair. However, I will say...
guy, man.
Yeah, I will say, though, they have that big old fucking gate for the big monster thing.
The Mosasaur.
Okay, yeah, that piece of shit. in the first movie, its enclosure was like dead in the middle of the park. Why is it fucking like right on the side of the island now, where they can easily access it from the ocean?
It jumped the gate.
I don't think that's true. I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure in the first one it is like a wall around.
No, it was like right in the middle of the park.
I'll have to look. I'll have to look at that again.
So yeah, that was that's like a little nitpicky thing, I know, but it's fucking stupid. I didn't like that scene at all. Also, how did it not fucking just like bring the entire helicopter down when it bit that guy?
Because the I don't know, the ladder was worn down.
I don't know. Media copium, dude. The guy had a fucking headset on, and
that's what I was gonna say.
And they're like, why aren't they telling him through the headset? There's a fucking T-Rex behind his ass. Also, what the fuck's up with the way this gate mechanism works? Why the fuck is like, does he have to hold the button down to keep it from? Like, why is it not you click the fucking button and it just opens up the gate? Why does it open up like halfway? This gate makes no fucking sense.
The pad was a conduit to make the connection for the gate to work.
What?
Yeah. They were only opening and closing the gate based on the connection through the pad. Because they had to
why would it work that way? Why not just make it so you click a button and it opens the fucking gate?
Because that pad was not part of the design of like the part.
If they have a way of a hardware device to open the gate, why would they need the function to be able to, like, if it's connected, it opens the gate? Why not just make it so you click a button and it just opens the fucking gate?
It was.
Okay, so I will say this movie has significantly more problems outside of just the opening scene, so we can kind of get to those here.
I find it very funny how in this movie our main characters are clearly in the wrong. We should not save the dinos. We should not be going to this mansion to save the dinos. We need to let the dinos die. The dinos should... Ian Malcolm is 100% correct in that, hey, we fucked up by making the dinos. Here's a chance to unfuck the thing.
No, Tanner, you don't understand. The old guy from the very first movie, he always respected the dinosaurs, Tanner. That's what they told us. He always respected dinosaurs and dinosaur life, okay?
That's what he's known for.
Yeah.
That was his big thing.
What's stupid about the whole motivation behind this entire movie, though, is that none of this would have happened if they just killed off the fucking dinosaurs, right? None of this plot would have happened. Except, right, at the very end, they basically have the same moral quandary as the start of the movie, where they can save the dinosaurs or not. And they choose not to, making it moot. Right? Until, the fucking clone girl decides to open it up and unleash all these dinosaurs onto the general population, which is fucking horrible. She's killed probably hundreds of people with this decision.
Yeah. They're just like her, though, Jackson. You don't understand. They're just like her.
Yeah, no, she's a clone, and that is, like, literally the only reason they use the clone thing. Oh, yeah, she's a clone, and she's just like the dinosaurs. Fuck you, movie. So stupid.
By the way... Why did that guy tell them that she's a clone? He
Yeah,
had zero reason to do that in that moment. He's like, okay, she's a clone, by the way.
They, like, just met this chick, too. They know fucking nothing about her. Why does he think they give a shit?
Right.
Also, the villains in this movie suck ass. They're just, like, cartoonishly evil guys, just, like, so fucking generic. Just like, I'm a businessman, and I love money. And I like taking teeth from dinosaurs. That's my thing. I'm just a military guy.
I love casual animal cruelty.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Okay, let's talk about the betrayal scene for a second, because this scene really fucking baffled me when I was watching it. I was in complete shock about what was happening. Like, so it basically goes the way of, we've got Chris Pratt, who is trying to coax Blue into, like, coming with him, and then suddenly they get shot, right, by a trank, or they shoot Blue with a trank. That immediately aggravates Blue. They're getting surrounded. Blue, and then, understandably, goes on the aggressive and tries to get out of the situation by attacking one of these people. He shoots the fucking dinosaur. Completely reasonable. Why are they prioritizing the life of this fucking dinosaur over the life of a person?
Because it's worth millions!
I think it's reasonable to assume, right, that they would want to defend themselves with any means necessary. And then all this confrontation starts because of that. I didn't even know it was a betrayal, because it's so fucking stupid. I didn't know what was happening until it, fully happened. Then they shoot him with they shoot Chris Pratt with a trank dart. He falls to the ground. Immediately, the fucking doctor chick, who doesn't fucking care about this guy at all because they just met 10 minutes ago on the plane ride, is defending him by pointing a fucking gun at the military guy when she's surrounded by other guys with guns pointing at her. Why does she care this fucking much? And then they just take her. It's so fucking stupid.
Also, on top of that, Jax, she pulls a gun at him, doesn't do anything. She just points a gun at them. And then they all point their guns at her, and she's like, "Okay, hang on, guys, put your guns down for a second
let's not get crazy with this, guys." And then it's funny too because fucking Chris Pratt like wakes up. I'm not even gonna fucking go into that part. Like the big thing though is that how do they even know that they're being betrayed? When they like come to at the edge of the island, right there on the water, they see all the dinosaurs being taken away by the like on boat and helicopter. That was like the original intent of the mission, is to get these dinosaurs off the land. So why do they even think they're being betrayed? It looks, from their perspective, it should just be what they're here to do. You know, the fucking military taking the dinosaurs and getting them off the fucking island. Why do they care? Why do they think they're being betrayed?
Because they're showing no concern for their safety.
What do you mean?
How do they know that?
What are you talking about?
Well,
Like, Chris Pratt shouldn't...
because they tranquilized Chris Pratt and left him there, and then also
because he was trying to violently assault their fucking commanding officer. I think it's totally reasonable to put a guy down that's trying to inflict fucking
but they could have taken him
on
with them. And then also they locked Claire and the kid in the room without saying anything.
By the way, since they didn't take him with them, it was very obvious that their intention was to have him die. Why didn't they just shoot him?
Yeah.
Because they thought the lava would take care of him. I don't know.
It should have. That's another big point. That fucking volcanic ash is insanely hot. The second it touches him, it should have turned him into fucking glass, basically. That shit is like thousands of degrees. It would have vaporized the second it touched him.
It's not thousands of degrees, but go on.
It's like 1,000 degrees, my bad.
It's not 1,000 degrees.
It's really fucking hot.
It is hot.
You can fact check that yourself, too. I looked up a lot of sources on this. That shit would have immediately fucking vaporized him, basically, the second it touched him.
Also, like, all that dry-ass leaves around him would have absolutely caught fire.
He would have been fucking engulfed in flame far before he woke up.
The ground could have been wet, and the leaves could have been soggy on the underside.
Why are you making excuses? Shut up.
You know why he's making excuses. He loves this movie. He's been so sad sitting there this entire time.
I like how we had all these dinosaurs we never have seen before just show up in this movie.
What do you mean? There's only like one.
We've never seen Carnotauruses before. We've never seen an Allosaurus before.
Carnotaurus was in the first movie.
The what? No,
yes.
It wasn't.
Or no, sorry, the third movie. It was the third movie. My bad.
No, I mean, like, in Jurassic World, we've never seen any of those things.
So, Carnotaurus was still in the third movie, I don't...
Okay, fine, how about the Allosaurus, then?
No, we've never seen an Allosaurus.
Dumbass.
Actually, I'm pretty sure Allosaurus was also... No, that was a Spinosaurus. Never mind.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, one piece of praise I do have for the movie, I like that scene where the ball goes into the ocean. I thought that was shot pretty well. I thought it looked really nice.
Does it make sense he could shoot through the ball?
No. Well, he didn't shoot through the ball. Well, okay, yeah, the bullet went through it, but it didn't do anything.
Logically speaking, no, because it was supposed to withstand a 50 caliber bullet and yada yada from the first movie.
Can you shoot a gun underwater?
Yes.
Yeah, you can.
The velocity of the bullet
guns.
is severely reduced, but that doesn't matter if you have the barrel of the gun right against the...
Yeah, I just didn't know how it worked if you had water going down the barrel and stopping the actual, like, ignition.
Well, I don't know how that works on...
It depends on the casing and the gun and this, that, and the other.
I think with the newer guns, it doesn't matter as much.
Regardless, it doesn't really matter that much. That's not a point I care that much about.
Yeah, the gun didn't ultimately do anything anyway, so...
Yeah.
By the way, our new characters, how'd you guys feel about them? Our two new diversity hires here.
The guy is insufferable, and he really doesn't do a whole lot throughout this movie.
He hacks systems and stuff.
Yeah, they were trying really hard to make the fucking Asian chick be like some badass chick, but she was just really fucking annoying, and I did not like her at all.
She was the worst. I fucking despise that woman. At the same time, I really want to fuck her, though. She's so hot. I'm so into her.
Yeah, I have no strong... I mean, yeah, they're, like, boring and dumb, and we didn't... Which is why they disappear for the last half of the movie. So.
Yeah, no, they realize they're bad characters. Like, the fucking guy, he gets, like, recruited as, like, some random ship hand or something because he has to, you know, fit into that scenario. And then the next time we see him, he's, like, helping out with the medical staff or something. How did this happen? What was the chain of events that led him from being some random ship hand?
Was there really no in-between from him, like, having to walk off from the ship and then showing up in the lab?
That was, in fact, the only
There's no explanation between those two scenes?
No.
I think the joke is that he's just getting folded into these random tasks because that's the trope.
Yeah, I know the intention of it's supposed to be funny, but it's just fucking stupid.
No one questioned his credentials at any point. That's
Yeah,
very
he's
funny.
just some random fucking guy.
Yeah, and by the way, speaking of like halfway through the movie, this movie just fucking changes entirely. Like, it's fucking nuts, okay?
Who did you cut off?
The entire movie, it just changes. It's like they just have two separate movies in this thing.
Yeah, it goes from like basically like an action disaster flick to trying to be, I guess, a horror movie.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about last week. We were like, do we have 3 horror movies this week? This is what I was talking about. It's trying to be a horror movie, kind of. It's kind of trying to be a horror movie. It in no way actually commits to it in any meaningful way. There's like a couple of like creepy moments in it, like the bio dinosaur, whatever the fuck, sneaking into the girl's room and like doing the weird finger thing. Which, by the way, why the fuck did it do that? Why didn't it just immediately maul her? But like outside of that, it doesn't try hard enough to be anything. It's like those moments are purely for them to just like throw in the trailer or something.
Mm-hmm.
Should we talk about the actual dinosaur now? The Indoraptor, the main driving force of this movie.
It's so fucking stupid.
I thought it was kind of neat. I think it's kind of scary.
What's
What does this thing have? What does this thing have over the previous massive dinosaur that could fucking camouflage itself, was bulletproof? The business.
It's smaller.
It's more genetically designed to respond to military tactics.
But why? What's the purpose of that whatsoever?
So they could use it for military purposes.
Yeah, them leaning into that is the dumbest fucking decision they could have ever
so fucking
possibly
stupid.
made.
Like, what they do in this movie is the way that they're going to be using it is they have, like, this gun-like object that they show a laser with, and then they fire off, like, a sound wave so that the dinosaur knows what to attack. But if you have, like, a laser on something that you're trying to make it attack with a gun-like object, why not just make it an actual gun and shoot whatever it is you're pointing at?
Because you could be efficient, have a gun and that laser pointer.
What?
What?
If you're already pointing the laser on somebody, why not just take the fucking shot?
I don't know.
If you have to aim the laser at them anyways, it's just like adding an extra step. Especially if the thing can just be fucking shot.
I believe the idea is that a future version of the Raptor you would not need to like laser mark or anything.
Did they explain that?
Like, I don't know, you could like show it a picture,
yes, they said it was a
give
prototype.
it the scent of something.
I mean, yeah, they say it's a prototype, but they don't explain any of its like future capabilities. We just know what it is now, and the prototype makes no fucking sense.
Well, yeah, the whole scene got rushed when they introduced it. They didn't have time to talk about its future.
What do you mean, Dylan? They rushed the scene because that's just what they decided to do with the fucking film. They could have actually expanded upon that if they wanted to. But they just didn't feel the need to, apparently.
Yeah, they weren't forced to not explain it.
Well, it's not like this dinosaur was going to be around long enough for it to matter anyway.
They do kill it off surprisingly quickly. Like, it really is not that much of a threat at the end of the day. It just falls through some fucking glass and impales itself, basically.
I thought it was cool how it would run on 2 legs and also sometimes 4.
I think the CGI in this movie is really good.
It was.
There
really
we go.
good.
That's a praise, Bob Boy. That's a praise. I think it was a well animated movie.
Did you guys like it how the raptor like smiled at us? It like looked right in the camera and gave us a little smile right before it killed that guy.
And then later on in the movie,
funny.
it asked us a moral quandary while looking at the camera as well.
Yeah. It was like, so why do you guys enjoy horror movies about dinosaurs?
Are you guys rooting for me, or do you guys think that the protagonists are going to win?
Do you think Chris Pratt's going to be able to pull one over on me? I don't know. I bet you guys are betting on him, but I'm betting on this guy.
You guys are immediately going into the next. You guys are immediately going into the next movie. Are we done talking about those?
Dylan, you seem like really sad right now. How did you feel about this movie?
I'm not even gonna try.
You're not gonna try. What do you mean?
No, let's hear it. What do you like about this movie, Dylan?
No, I don't want to. I don't know because you guys. No, I don't want to bother.
Tell you what, Dylan, we'll give you 90 seconds uninterrupted. We will not comment on anything you say during these 90 seconds.
It's not the 90 seconds of
movie?
interrupted. It's not the 90 seconds of interrupted review. It's the next 5 minutes after that.
No, I'm saying anything you say during these 90 seconds will be free of criticism. We will not say anything about it.
Just to be complete, I'm disheartened about this at this point. I stopped thinking about reasons as to why this movie was good because I didn't feel like arguing with you guys. So
I'm saying we will offer no arguments. There will be no criticisms. We just air your thoughts here.
Before he does that, can I say one more thing? Just
sure.
that this isn't covered by whatever he says.
Of course.
So they're constantly putting Blue, the Velociraptor, as like the big savior in these movies. He's like helped out with the end of the first one, and then obviously in this one he's a big part in why, you know, they beat the fucking Indoraptor in the end. Why the fuck does this thing care so much about these people? Like, it's just some random fucking thing. Honestly, they're trying to really fucking shoehorn in that, oh yeah, like he totally loves Chris Pratt, even though in the first movie he's just like some fucking dinosaur that they trained. It was not that serious, and now they're like trying to make him like far closer than he is.
They'll expound upon that even more in the next movie, Jackson. Just you wait.
That's funny, but yeah, no, he's like constantly getting betrayed. He got fucking shot by you know, people surrounding Chris Pratt. It's a dinosaur. It doesn't know how to fucking conceptualize any of this shit.
What are you talking about? The raptors are the most intelligent species on the planet. They're known to be smarter than humans.
So if you have somebody that's trying to coax you into doing something right, and then people that are with him suddenly shoot you with a fucking tranquilizer and then shoot you as you try to escape, are you going to think that they're on your side, or do you think they're going to be on their side?
I think that it can realize that he's there to help and they're not. I think that level of thinking is in place.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that myself. I think that it being super fucking into the idea of helping them after all of this shit, just like, it's still fucking like wild animal at the end of the day, doesn't really make a ton of sense to me. And I'm not a huge fan of them like making this guy the fucking big savior for all of these movies. I'm curious to see what they're gonna do with the third movie. Now that Nico said that.
They arguably quadruple down on this.
Okay.
It's basically a human that can like bite things real good.
All right.
Anyway.
All right, so Dylan, now for your praise, now for your thoughts on the movie. Your unfiltered thoughts.
This
Dylan,
recording's this recording's already gone on long enough. Let's just move on.
No, don't worry about that.
Your thoughts need to be heard. The people need to know.
Dylan, you love these movies. We've just been trashing out this whole time. People need to hear why folks enjoy Jurassic World and like why these movies are so like massively successful, okay? Like this movie did gangbusters at the box office, Dylan, and people need to understand why. And so that's your perspective here, Dylan. What exactly is it about Jurassic World 2 that you love so much?
Well, I mean, just it explores the other half of the story because we obviously had John Hammond from Jurassic Park. But we only knew that half. We knew that he loved dinosaurs, he liked, you know, he wanted to give people something to experience. And then you have this guy, I think his name was Lockwood. I forget his first name. The other old gentleman that we encounter in this movie. And we're like, oh, I didn't know there was a second guy who was involved with this. Like, what's his deal? And then we find out that, like, the divisive thing happened when, like, his daughter died of, like, some genetic illness. And like he like made a genetic clone of his daughter, and it was successful. And for some reason that divided them, and we don't know why. And so we want to figure that out. But it's also just like, oh, these dinosaurs still exist. People still care. Oh, they're gathering the Indominus Rex DNA. Why are they doing that? Oh, they're gonna make another one. And then it's just like going on, and they're kind of just repeating this. I thought it was funny because this movie is a lot like Jurassic Park: The Lost World. So they're kind of mirroring that movie in its own sense, especially with the fact that they end up releasing the dinosaurs to the public at the end. So in reality, the next movie is just a giant version of the last half of Jurassic Park: Lost World. And I just thought the design of the Indoraptor was like very unique in its own way, and I like how they were trying to show progression with the last like big bad from the last movie.
And that's 90 seconds, Dylan. That's 90 seconds right there.
Crazy.
All right, so with that, boys, are you ready to go on to our rankings?
Yes.
No.
Alrighty, so Dylan, why don't you start us off here? What did you think of Jurassic World 2? S-, you say. A second S-.
I'm not going to give any more justification. I'm just here to give ratings at this point.
Jesus. So Tanner, what'd you think of Jurassic World 2?
You know, honestly, we've talked me down quite a bit.
What'd you start at?
I started at B-, but That's
far too high.
Yeah. No, I agree. I I think I'll go C minus.
Yeah. Jackson, how about you, my man?
You go first, man. I want to end on a high note, as they say.
No, you're not. You're going to give this movie an F.
Alright, so I'm gonna be honest, guys. This fucking movie, and really just like this entire experience, is just like constantly tanking my entire perception of the Jurassic Park franchise as a whole the further we go. And it's just like, it's got me so fucking down on dinosaurs at this point that I just cannot possibly foresee how I will ever gain any sort of respect for this franchise again. And at this point, it's causing me to just want to lower all of my ratings for all
like
of these films when we eventually get back around to it. So, while I do think that the second Jurassic Park movie is worse than this one, I am going to be putting this ranking lower than that. I'm going to be throwing this at a D+, I think. A D+. Like I said, there's still some good shots in this movie, at least, you know? They got that going for them.
Mm-hmm.
The acting is serviceable.
Yeah.
So, Jackson, how about you, my man?
Yeah, I'm giving this one a D minus. I don't think it's an F tier movie. I think this movie definitely has some stuff that's going for it, but the writing is so impossibly bad and confounding. It really just leaves me baffled how this got anywhere near this level. Like they have like a whole professional team of people working on this. I don't know how the fuck all this shit had through. It's like every minor little bit of this movie has something wrong with it. It's pretty fascinating.
Now I kind of wish we got to see, because this director, Colin Trevorrow or whatever, he was going to be the one to do episode 9 of Star Wars. This movie makes me wish I got to see what that would have been.
Oh, that would have been real fun. So what's our final rating then for the film, Jackson?
It is sitting at a C.
Pretty respectable rating overall.
Yeah.
Nika, you said D, right?
D plus, I think is what I said.
Oh, D plus?
Yeah.
It's still a C regardless.
Cool. Alrighty, and with that, we're moving on to our final film of the week, guys. Final film of the week. Funny Games.
Funny Games.
Funny Games. Jackson, want to tell the people about Funny Games?
Yeah, this was my pick. I picked this because I don't know, to be honest. I watched a YouTube video. They like talked about a specific scene in it. I don't remember what that scene was. Throughout the entire watching of this movie, I had no idea what that scene was. It was probably the remote control theme.
That's what I'm assuming as well.
Because that's like the big famous one that everybody talks about in this movie. Oh yeah, no, the cool remote control scene. But yeah, I was surprised by this movie, to say the least. I thought it was going to be kind of bad and campy, but no, this is straight up just a deconstruction of this level, this like kind of like genre of thriller movies at the time, and I guess kind of fiction as a whole, with the last rant and some of the things they talk about with this movie. But yeah, it's kind of hard to talk about the plot of this movie because it doesn't really matter that much, to be completely honest. It's mostly about the appeal of, the deconstruction. Like, this movie starts out with like 15-20 minutes of basically nothing happening. Of course, that's supposed to be a poke at the fact that a lot of the time horror movies start out with nothing fucking happening until it all just suddenly happens, decent ways into it. First interaction, right, is we got the wife in the kitchen. She's cooking, and one of the two antagonists comes up and asks for some eggs. This is supposed to be like a poke at the fact that the justifications for a lot of like the horror, whatever, of these movies. I probably shouldn't be like explaining all of the fucking deconstruction.
Probably not yet. No, just like go through the plot first.
Okay, yeah. So they're asking for some fucking eggs. They're really just looking for an excuse to like start a home invasion. Basically, they get it. They kill the dog in the meantime after they like ask for some golf clubs. Husband comes in. They fucking clack his knees, break his fucking leg. And that really just starts the downward spiral. They have like the wife go and look for the dead dog. The guy looks at the fucking camera, trying to, basically he's like talking to the audience, trying to, see like what we're thinking about the situation. And it's pretty accurate. Every time they talk to the audience, it's basically exactly what I'm thinking. Like he's talking straight into what I'm thinking at the time, which is cool. They go into the fucking living room eventually, and that's where a lot of the scenes take place. They're talking to him about how they're gonna fucking bet that they're gonna die before like 9 o'clock or something tomorrow, and then they kind of just torture him. It's really hard to watch. They fucking shoot the kid in the fucking head after counting down. There's like a 15-minute long scene where they're just sitting there processing the trauma of their child being killed before their eyes. And then the bad guys kind of just leave after that for a while, where the husband and wife then kind of have to like get over that grief to try to get out of this situation. They try to like, they're blowing on their phone that got knocked into the water previously so that they can call people to get out of this situation. Eventually the husband's like, yeah, you just need to leave and get help, and I'm just going to sit here and try to like hold out for myself. Wife does in fact leave. She ends up being caught by the antagonist later on and brought back to the house. Husband wasn't able, to get the phone working or anything. They end up doing like a final like little game with them where they're going to basically give the wife a choice to decide who wants to die first and how. The wife ends up kind of just skipping that, taking the fucking shotgun, the gun they had, blasting one of the antagonists. The other antagonist like, you shouldn't have done that, and he takes the remote and rewinds, and it basically goes backwards through that scene, and then we watch it again, except the antagonist, takes the gun out of her hands, doesn't let her shoot the guy, and then he fucking kills the husband, or they kill the husband, and then they go out in a boat the next morning. They push her in the fucking water, she dies, and then they go and start the whole process over again. That's basically funny games.
Now, Tanner, I'm going to go on a limb here real quick, okay? I'm assuming you didn't like this movie very much.
No, I liked it. I thought it was neat.
Oh, okay, that's good to hear.
It made me think of Cabin in the Woods. Like, in the same way that Cabin in the Woods is like a deconstruction of a lost slasher and monster movies, this one was a deconstruction of like a very typical trope for like thriller movies where it's the family trapped in the house. Like, there's so many of these fucking movies, but this one's interesting because it gets real fourth wall-y and whatnot with it.
Yeah. Real home invasion and stuff.
Yeah. I thought I found the acting pretty interesting. Sometimes it was stilted and weird in like an intentional way, and then sometimes it was just like so hyper realistic. The I don't even know what word to describe the noise. The noises the husband is making after his kid dies. I was holy shit. I feel like I am actually watching a man who has seen his child be obliterated in front of him.
Yeah,
like that was.
I was gonna say, that's actually one of my biggest strengths with this movie, is the fucking acting is so good. It's actually incredible. Like, it literally looks like you're just watching this happen. Like, this isn't a movie, this is just something that's happening. And it was insanely immersive, which is, I think, what really lends itself to why this movie is so fucking hard to watch. Like, this movie is agony to get through, because it's just so realistic in the portrayal of everything. I think the character motivations were really solid throughout, and it's brutal.
Yeah, speaking of the motivations, by the way, that's one big thing that they really fucking touch on with this film, is that we have no idea why these guys are doing this whatsoever, and their explanation for it, when they're initially given like their background or whatever, it's very reminiscent of something else we've talked about on the channel, My Short Story, perhaps, that we were talking about. Do you guys remember this at all? Do you remember it all? Or you remember my short story that I wrote? In which, similarly to in My Short Story, in here, when they're asked about their motivation as to like why all this shit is happening, they just give a bunch of like random bullshit. They're like, it doesn't fucking matter why this is happening. What our reason is like not going to change your circumstances whatsoever. Like, just fucking deal with it.
It's like the Joker in The Dark Knight.
Exactly. It's just like the Joker in The Dark Knight.
Yeah, this movie, playing on your expectations, is really good too. Like, obviously, I mentioned it already, but whenever they're talking to the camera or something, it's basically exactly what you're thinking at the time. When the wife was going looking for the dog, for example, I knew like exactly what was happening. The guy's looking at me, he looks right back at me. I was like, okay, yeah, they got me. That's exactly what I was thinking. Or when they're betting on like the lives of these people, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, are they gonna fucking kill him? I'm trying to decide what's happening, and then they're basically asking me the moral quandary I'm already thinking of. And they even like do the very start of the movie, they had the red herring with the knife. The wife's like, yeah, I need that knife back, and then she gets it in the end, and it doesn't even fucking matter. Yeah, exactly. Really laying into the fact that like they had no chance. It doesn't matter. This was all pointless in the end, basically. This movie does a really fucking good job at deconstructing this genre. It's really impressive.
Yeah, the way they deconstruct it, where they're talking about like, yeah, so like all this shit that's happening, like this is what you want, right? Like this is entire purpose. Like you're here to like watch people suffer or whatever, right? Like you're hoping they'll overcome it, but like at the same time, none of this would be happening to them if you just didn't want to watch this movie, and if you didn't, like, try and absorb, like, media that does this kind of shit. Which, by the way, this is going to sound like a very strange comparison, but, like, buckle up your seatbelts here. It reminds me a lot of what they do with the genocide route of Undertale, actually.
Oh, okay.
Where,
interesting.
all the bad things are happening, like, that's entirely of your own volition. Like, you can make it stop if you want to, just, like, walk away. Like, none of this shit needs to be happening. Like, it's only happening to these characters because you're making it happen. But, like, you know...
Yeah, which is a big part of what that's like a big part of the critique about fiction in itself, because this isn't just a movie talking about, thrilling movies and deconstructing that, but it's also just talking about, the just state of fiction in general, which is cool. I'm going to talk about, like, one last thing with the deconstruction thing, that being with that 15-minute or so long scene, however long it is, where you have the wife and the husband on the ground of the living room when they're, after their child got their head blown off. That scene is totally supposed to be, like, uncomfortably long. That's the whole point, because it's trying to make you want the people to come back. Like, it's supposed to be boring, it's supposed to be uncomfortable, because it's trying to get you to want the fucking bad guys to come back and start doing these horrible things to them again. Even though it's horrible, you don't want that to happen, because you want these people to live, you want them to get out of the situation. But, like, the scene being so fucking monotonous and boring, is, the whole point of that is to want you to have these people come back and keep doing these horrible things to them.
Yeah, you just, like, want something to be happening at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Even it's like the, I don't know if you guys have seen those videos or something where, like, they lock somebody in a room with a button. If you press the button, it shocks you. Mm-hmm. But after, because of boredom, people will click the button anyways, even though it's doing something bad to them just because it's something to do. It's kind of playing on that. You'd rather have something horrible and bad happening than nothing at all. Yeah, that's my last part of the deconstruction thing, I think.
Yeah. And Dylan, you've been pretty silent throughout this conversation. What were your thoughts on the film?
I mean, I kind of just second everything you guys say. Movie definitely had a very interesting take on the horror genre. There were definitely a lot of situations in which I was like, clearly, it's like two adult people, like, and I don't know, maybe I, like, sorely misjudged how hard they hit the dad's leg with the golf club. But I was like, surely... I don't know. I'll second what Jackson said. There was a lot of, like, moments in this movie where I was like, you guys could literally just do X, Y, Z. But that's obviously what the movie wants us to think and what they want us to, have happen. But we know that it's not going to, so we're expecting the other outcome instead. But yeah, no, this movie fits into, what it's trying to do very well. I thought the really weird part was the fourth wall breaking. That didn't really make or break the movie for me. That was just kind of like a weird thing that I've never really seen a horror movie do before. Usually fourth wall breaking is for, like, the funny moments or whatever you want to say. But other than that, the whole, like, pause scene of, like, absolutely nothing going on, the parents are sitting there grieving, makes a lot more sense now. I definitely did not get that sitting there watching it. But I guess the feeling that Jackson was describing was definitely, I was like, oh my god, something needs to happen. I don't want to sit here and, like, think about the child that just got blasted by a shotgun and these parents having to deal with that reality now. Like, just get me out of this situation. So I guess, in reality, I experienced exactly what this movie wanted, and that's pretty good, I guess.
Solid, dude, solid. So, real quick here, I do actually have, like, a couple gripes with this film, though.
Okay. Yeah, talk about the boat scene with them talking to the people on the boat. Go ahead.
That fucking boat scene where they're talking to the people on the boat, okay? So, like, she's, like, walking out here with this dude, just, like, chilling with her, and, like, they go and talk to, like, this group of folks, like, out on a boat, and the entire time, like, he doesn't have a weapon on him at that point.
Yeah.
Why doesn't she just, like, tell him, hey, these guys are fucking psychos, and they're fucking with us, they injured my husband. Can you guys, like, help out here? Maybe, like, beat this guy up with me?
Yeah, there's, like, 4 adults in that scene. She could have, like, grabbed him at least, and then the other 3 could have jumped off the boat and, like, done something.
I assume it's because the other guy had the kid with him.
I mean, what the fuck are they gonna do? They're, like, pretty far away from the house at this point.
Yeah. Did they have the shotgun at that point in time?
No, they didn't. They got that.
So then at that point, that would have been easy. Like, that situation could have been very easily dispatched, I suppose.
Maybe it's because she's a woman. She can't make rational decisions like that,
decision.
I think it's mostly just because there was, like, fear of the unknown of what would happen. It's she has to attempt to convince these people that this is happening, right? He's also there. He can just attempt to, defend himself and be like, I don't know what the hell she's talking about, because she's, like, clearly going crazy or something. Why would this ever be happening? Because it's like, you know, an insane situation. Obviously, the guy could just potentially overpower them. They're a bunch of fucking old people, just knock them in fucking water or something. I don't know. There's definitely an out there that she could have taken and she didn't.
This kid is definitely persistently convincing. Like, he just it seems like he talks himself in and out of situations very easily. So maybe that factor could have come into play in that scenario. I don't know.
Yeah. I think my biggest gripe with this movie is not the boat scene, but it's actually just the fact, and it's definitely a product of what it is as a deconstruction of this genre. But the movie definitely suffers from the issues that it gives itself because of its deconstruction. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, the 15-minute long scene of them just fucking sitting there wasting time. The whole point of that scene is to waste time, but it's still just wasting your fucking time at the end of the day. First part of the movie is completely pointless.
That's definitely like my biggest gripe with the film as well. There are a lot of scenes that go on for way too long. I understand why they're there, but at the same time, they really don't add much to the movie ultimately. I think that like a scene after like the child dies, I think that's really the only time I can really justify it. The rest of the time it's like, I understand this is supposed to be like uncomfortable or whatever, but at the same time, like, this can very easily be remedied. You can just fucking...
the egg scene. Egg scene is like 15 fucking minutes.
It's so long.
That's a big one. That one's super fucking long. When the child is like running away, like trying to find a way around the house or whatever, that goes on for a really long time as well. Just that kind of shit, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, alas, we see what you're doing, but you can't be fucking past it. You know, that's just like, it's just what's going to happen, man. I don't think there's really any way of them avoiding that. Like, they could have cut those scenes down a lot, but then it's not as poignant as what it's trying to do.
I don't think it would detract it that much from the film if they cut those scenes down.
Fair. I think it's like as an actual deconstruction, it increases the quality of it, but as like an overall movie, I think it lessers it.
Yeah.
I kind of wish the guys were a bit more violent up front to establish themselves as more of a threat. Because, like, the guy getting hit in the leg by the golf club, it doesn't look that bad. Obviously, the way they play it off is, okay, he is, like, really, really injured.
Broke his fucking leg.
Yeah, but, like, I'd say up until they actually start, like, you know, fucking stabbing them and shit, you're like, these guys don't seem like a physical threat at all, and I'm not really buying this.
I think that's entirely intentional to a degree, though, because, like, until
Nico, intention out...
until they, like, really establish, like, oh, yeah, by the way, we definitely want to fucking kill you, and, like, the three of you are not going to make it until, like, 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. I think, like, up until then, it's like, okay, well, what really is their game here, you know, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
Because they're talking about, like, oh, yeah, like, you know, I'm pre-med, I can, like, fix that leg up, don't worry about it, like, you came at me and stuff like that, like, I was just defending myself at the end of the day, you know? Like, it's still very questionable what they're actually trying to get out of this entire exchange, so I think that it's totally fine, them playing it off the way that they did.
Yeah, I'm also like on the completely opposite end of the spectrum as Tanner too, because I honestly think they took control of that situation like really fucking well, and it was kind of scary how good they were at it. I mean, honestly, they've been doing it for a while. Like they immediately crippled the one person that was like able to like, you know, defend themselves. Obviously, the woman's not going to be able to fucking fight against two grown men, and the kid's not really going to be able to do anything. Guy's got a broken leg. There's really a whole lot he can't do. I think they just did a really good job, and I was actually fairly impressed with how quickly they fucking took control of that situation.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me though. We also took this very differently. Plus, what Nico said about how that's like supposed to be the point.
But why'd they have to kill the dog though?
Oh, the dog was scary.
It was too loud.
It was too loud. Yeah.
Automatic F. This movie sucks.
I knew it. I knew you'd hate the dog dying.
If it makes you feel better, that dog was racist, Dylan.
How's that dog racist?
Because it's a German Shepherd.
You're fucking stupid.
It wouldn't have liked you, Dylan. At least half of you.
What? What half of me isn't it gonna like?
What do you think?
Oh my god. I am... whatever. I'm not gonna feed into this.
Alright, who wants to kick off the ratings for this one? I assume we have nothing else to talk about, really.
Yeah, Tanner, you want to kick us off here?
Yeah, you know, you guys convinced me. I think I'm gonna raise my rating from where I had it. I'm gonna give this one an A.
There we go. There we go.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot to mention the fucking cinematography in this movie is incredible as well.
Oh, yeah.
I think that the shots and just general composition of everything is really, really fucking well done. Even though like the benign parts, super impressive to look at.
It's impressive what you can do when your country only makes a film every 90 years.
Yes, sir.
Hard agree. I think I'm gonna give this film the exact same ranking I gave to Parasite, guys, which is gonna be an A tier.
Yeah, I'm definitely much higher on this film than you guys are. I honestly don't think the boring parts of it really detracted from that much, just because I understand where it's trying to go with that. I'm just giving.
I understand too, Jax. I just don't like it.
I don't think it was that egregious, though. Is the big thing. From a first watch perspective, I don't think it was that bad. I don't know how it's going to be if I watch it a second time, because again, I think I mentioned I want to pick the remake of this movie, not anytime soon, but I'm gonna do that eventually, and I'm curious how that's gonna how this movie's gonna stand up with a rewatch.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I'm giving this movie an S-. I think it was really solid overall. I was thoroughly impressed with it in a lot of its aspects.
All right, Dylan. As for you,
I'm giving this movie an A-.
Not tripling down on the S-minuses this week.
Why would I do that?
I don't know.
Because it'd be funny.
Wait, did he give both Pandorum and Fallen World S-minuses?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, that puts us at an A.
Nice.
Wow.
Pretty respectable for this type of movie, to be completely honest. This movie can definitely be very hit or miss.
Yeah.
Tanner, what did you originally have this movie put out before our argument?
B+.
B+, okay.
What did you call it, an argument, Jax? That was an argument at all.
Or I meant our arguments for the movie is what I was trying to
I
talk
don't
about
have
that.
any arguments about any of these movies.
Yeah, we really didn't do a lot of arguing about this movie.
Alright, well, solid. Jackson.
Oh, the Patreon.
My man, can you do what Dylan just said there? What he requested of you? What he ordered you to do? What he demands?
I tested this so much after I did my changes, so I don't think it's going to break, but you never know. It didn't break, let's go. It picked Osmosis Jones.
Let's
Steve
go.
Harvey's Ghost.
How long has it been since I've seen this movie? It's been so long.
Yeah, it's definitely been a long ass time since I've seen that movie as well. You guys remember the actual show for Osmosis Jones?
Yes.
Barely.
I don't know anything about Osmosis Jones.
It was pretty sweet. There were these little guys. I think they were supposed to be cavities or some bullshit. Where they just really like sugar. Okay, their leader is a little Napoleon Bonaparte type dude, and they just love sugar. And they're French, so they're automatically hated, And they end up killing them at some point because they give them sugar. But in reality, it was salt. They hate salt. They immediately die from the salt. It was bonkers.
I don't think that's accurate to how cavities work.
I'm assuming they're cavities. I don't actually remember what they were.
I'm pretty sure salt creates cavities as well, doesn't it?
I don't think so.
Who's to say? Tanner, what movie are you picking this week, pal?
Interesting. What one do I want to pick? Can you go first, Nico? Do you know what one you want to pick?
No. I want you to
Damn
go
it.
first.
Shit. Fuck, I don't know what one I want to pick here.
Isn't this the part where you have one of us pick a number between 0 and something or whatever?
Yeah, one of you guys give me a number between 1 and 12.
7.
7, let's see. I am picking 12 Angry Men.
Let's go!
Why wasn't that number 12, Tanner?
Shut up. I write them down as I come up with them. And while Nico is telling us his, I need to figure out what version of this movie we're going to watch.
Sounds good. I'm going to be picking Weird, an Al Yankovic story.
Oh, no.
Interesting. The one with Daniel Radcliffe?
Sure, whatever movie it is that came out last year, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's Daniel Radcliffe as whatever.
Yeah, sounds good to me, dude.
Now, Nico, is it weird or is it a weird Al Yankovic story? What's
Weird, an Al Yankovic story.
So that's the whole. Oh god.
I think we are gonna go with we're gonna go with the 1957 version.
Ah, damn.
That's what I watched, so that'd be good. A good refresher. I think I watched it in my law and debate class or something.
It's supposed to be much better than the newer version, so
I would expect so.
Sounds good to me. It sounds like we got some pretty crazy movies we're going to be watching for this next week, guys. Pretty weird ones, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Dylan, would you like to tell people about the Patreon?
Again, alright. See, guys, you subscribe to our Patreon for just $1 a month. It gets you 500 slime coins. It gives you access to our pre-guap. It also gets you access to our Discord, where you can suggest movie ideas and topics that we discuss on the podcast, and also just to interact with us. It also gets you access to the podcast when they are released, the day they are released. And it also gives us the opportunity to read your name at the end of the podcast, like I'm about to do. I'm pretty sure it's not in the pinned.
Don't you worry, Dylan. I got you right here, dude. Thank you very much to our patrons, Rahim Rajawani, Kyler Nikolai, Certified Hebephile, Topraman Man, Joshua Bean, Tutbot, Lucas Odette Hunter, and Jacob Edwards. I especially love that Certified Hebephile there.
I'm really glad you read that, because that list is different than what I have.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. And as always, thank you very much for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.